All right, today we're going to be making a clicker game in Arcade. It is not a tutorial, so you're going to click New Project there. And then when that pops up, we want code options. And we want to do, let's do Python only. And we will call it clicker. Create. Awesome. So this will be a pretty simple code. What we want to have happen is we'll want to have a countdown timer. When we press our A button, we will get a point. And after however long your countdown is, I'm going to have mine be 10. It should tell you how many points that you got. So how quickly you clicked the A, how many times you clicked A in those 10 seconds. And we'll want to give our user directions, so we'll have that come across the screen. And last but not least, we want to have a sprite in the middle of our screen. So the first thing that I'm going to do is I'm going to go to controller, and I want to grab run code on button event. So I'm going to grab that. I'm just going to put that right there. And where it says event, I am just going to put my cursor there. I'm going to delete event, and we want on A pressed, okay? And then scrolling down here where it says on event pressed, we're going to change that event to A. Awesome, that looks great. Okay, and where it says pass, I'm going to delete that. And what we want to have happen, what we just did is on the A button clicked. Okay, now we have to say what we want to have happen on the A button clicked. So I'm going to go to info, and I'm going to grab change score by 1, and I'm going to put it right there underneath my on A pressed. Awesome, that looks great. Okay, I'm going to put my cursor down here on line 5. I'm going to click return a few times. And now let's give our player direction. So right now, it should, when we click A, give us a point. And every time we click A, it's giving us points. Awesome. But what we don't have is we haven't given our user directions, we don't have a sprite in the middle, and we don't have a countdown. So let's see, I am going to go to loops. Actually, I lied. I'm going to go to game. And we want to grab the one that says splash. And let's just put it right here on line 6. And then where it says none, I'm going to put my cursor. I'm going to delete none. And now we want to give our user directions. So whenever we are putting in text, so text that is not actual code, but text that we want to see on the screen, we're going to need to use parentheses, these not parentheses, but quotation marks. So in between these quotation marks is what will pop up on the screen. So I'm going to say click A as many times as possible in 10 seconds. Awesome. So when we click play, it comes across our screen. Click A as many times as possible in 10 seconds. Perfect. I'm going to put my cursor there on 7. Let's get a sprite to be in the middle of our screen. So I'm going to click sprites. I am going to go all the way to the top, and I'm going to grab the first one that says create, and I will put it, not liking my finger right now. I will put it right there on line 7. Let me just undo that because that was kind of hard to see. Okay, cursor on line 7. I'm going to go to sprites. I'm going to grab the first one, and then I'm going to put it right there. And when I do that, all this extra stuff pops up. So these little dots, these little periods, are going to represent our sprite. So to find that sprite, what we need to do is click on the art palette right there. And here's all the normal sprites that we can choose from. I'm just going to have the taco be right there in the middle, and I click done. And when I do that, do you see how it's from line 7 to line 40? So when I click on that little arrow next to line 7, all these little dots and numbers and letters just represent our the picture of our sprite. So if I want them to go away, just click done, click on the art palette there, and then it reduces it. So it's just taking away those lines, so it's not confusing us. So I'm going to put my cursor there at the end. I'm going to click return. Okay, so let's click. So it's going to say the directions. Click A as many times as possible in 10 seconds. And then after that, my taco pops up. Perfect. We want to have a countdown timer. So I'm going to go to info. We want to, let's try that again. We want to go to info. We want to do start countdown 10 seconds. Perfect. And then we also want to set our score to 0. So cursor is right there on that last line. Hit return. Gets me to a new line. I'm going to go to info. And I want to set the player score to 0. So each time we restart, we want to start at 10 seconds and set the score to 0. So let's go full screen. We click play. It's going to give us our directions. Click A as many times as possible in 10 seconds. We got our countdown timer. I'm pressing A. My taco's cool right there in the middle of the screen. 52. Awesome.